you ever felt stuck? Like no matter how much you try, something inside you just won't move. You wake up with intention, but by the end of the day, you feel drained, distracted, and strangely disconnected. You scroll, you think, you try to reset, but nothing really changes. Now here's the question. What if this feeling isn't random? What if the exact pattern behind your struggle was already described thousands of years ago? In the book of Isaiah, there's a sequence, not a prediction of events, but a pattern of the human soul. And once you see it, you'll realize something unsettling. You're not alone in this, and you're not the first to feel it. Isaiah opens with a shocking message. He's not speaking to atheists. He's not speaking to people far from God. He's speaking to people who are deeply religious, consistent, disciplined, people who show up, people who pray, people who do all the right things. And yet, something is wrong. God says through Isaiah, "These people honor me, but I cannot bear their worship anymore." Imagine hearing that, doing everything right, but still feeling empty, still feeling distant, still feeling like something isn't connecting. Does that sound familiar? Isaiah describes people bringing sacrifices, keeping rituals, following structure, but internally, they're exhausted, disconnected, unchanged. And here's the part that hits hardest. They didn't realize it. They thought they were fine. They thought more effort would fix it, more activity, more discipline, more pressure. But instead of breaking through, they got stuck in a loop. This is what I call the pattern, a cycle that repeats itself across generations. And once you see it, you start seeing it everywhere, even in your own life. It works like this. First comes overload. Too many inputs, too much noise, too many voices telling you who you should be. Then comes numbness. You stop feeling deeply. You go through the motions. You survive instead of engage. Then, performance. You try to fix the numbness by doing more productivity, more routines, even more spiritual effort. And finally, emptiness. Because no matter how much you do, it doesn't touch the core. So what do? You go back to step one. More input, more noise, and the cycle repeats. This isn't just ancient history. This is your feed, your schedule, your mental state. And Isaiah saw it long before smartphones, long before modern pressure. Because the pattern isn't technological, it's human. In the book of Isaiah, there's a word that keeps appearing. It's often translated as burden, but in the original language, it carries a deeper meaning. It's not just something heavy, it's something carried repeatedly, something you don't put down, something that becomes part of you. And that changes everything, because it means this: you're not dealing with a one-time problem, you're carrying a cycle. That feeling you can't explain, that pressure you keep returning to, that frustration that never fully leaves. It's not random, it's patterned. And here's the dangerous part. When you don't recognize the pattern, you start blaming yourself. You think, I'm not disciplined enough, I'm not spiritual enough, I'm not doing enough. But Isaiah flips that completely. The issue was never lack of effort, it was misdirected effort inside a broken cycle. And then everything shifts. Because later in the book of Isaiah, the tone changes completely. Comfort, comfort my people. It's no longer pressure. It's no longer correction. It's an invitation. This is where the pattern breaks. Not by doing more, but by stepping out of the cycle entirely. Isaiah describes something powerful, a renewal that doesn't come from effort, but from alignment. Those who wait shall renew their strength. Not those who rush, not those who overload themselves. Those who step out of the noise. And this is the part nobody talks about. The solution isn't adding more to your life, it's removing what keeps the cycle alive. So, here's what that looks like, practically. First, create silence before input, before your phone, before notifications, before the world tells you what matters. Even 10 minutes, because if the first voice you hear every day is noise, you've already entered the cycle. Second, replace performance with honesty. Not long prayers, not perfect words, just real ones. Because the people in Isaiah weren't rejected for lack of effort. They were missing authenticity. Third, identify one empty pattern and break it. Not everything, just one. One habit that keeps you stuck, one loop that drains you, and interrupt it, because breaking one cycle weakens the entire system. And here's the truth most people never realize. Your struggle isn't proof that you're failing. It might be proof that you're right in the middle of a pattern that was always meant to be broken. So maybe you're not stuck. Maybe you're just repeating something you were never taught how to escape. But now you see it. And once you see the pattern, you can choose differently, because the same ancient words that expose the cycle also gave you the way out. And this time, you don't have to repeat it. If this made you see your life differently, then you're already stepping out of the pattern. And that's where everything begins.